Today, I'm going to be walking you through a very simple strategy that you can implement to repurpose your live streams, whether that's coming from a Facebook live stream or a YouTube live stream, to make this a good video that you can publish to your YouTube channel. Let's dive in. So one of the questions that I get from talks that I'll do, especially when I get into Q&A, is I will get people that are coming from Facebook and they're wanting to repurpose those live streams and feeling like, do I have to throw away that content if I want to start a YouTube channel, or should I repost it, or what should I do? And one of the big mistakes that a lot of people would make in that use case is copying and pasting and downloading it to YouTube and just letting it fly. And that isn't going to fit the culture at all. Every platform has a culture. And if your content isn't fitting that culture and it's not delivered in a way that people are used to receiving content and that they prefer to receive content, then it makes it clickable. And your content is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be clickable or what I call scroll pastable, which they just keep scrolling past it and they don't think twice about it. So the first thing is just really understanding the format that would be easiest to do. And that's adding context. When you add context to a video, that's understanding that you have a core thing, not the whole live stream, because more or less people aren't interested in that, but you have to pick out the piece that is going to be most relevant to them. Adding context means adding a relevant intro and an outro to a core point of that video. I recently repurposed one of my live streams that I did that was able to go into a tutorial video. Now, I did not just completely dump the whole live stream and just make us whatever random intro and outro. Really put some thought into what are people searching for, what's the core point and theme of this video, and what parts of the live stream that I'm repurposing is relevant and what parts are not, so I know to omit those pieces. Based on that is going to determine what goes into the video. So the first part is going to be a relevant intro. I need to understand what goes into this intro. So I'm thinking about, what are people searching for? Where would this video show up in someone's suggested or related fields on YouTube, or would it come up as a searchable keyword phrase? And if it is it going to deliver on what their expectations are on the platform? If it's not, then I may want to reconsider what I include or disclude. The other thing is understanding what is going to be the core content. What's going to be the core central focus of this video, and the part of how long should it be? As long as it needs to be and no longer. So Sean Cannell, learned that from you, give you credit for it once. When you look at like what's going to be included, take parts of the fluff off. One of the things that people will tend to leave in that I would tell you not to is the part where they're saying hello to people and stuff like that. Unless maybe it was a relevant question, the person that's going to watch this video more or less does not care. You always have to be concerned about the part of, do I care? And a lot of times the answer is no. So if that answer is no, if it's not relevant, and don't assume, well, this will be good for them, that they need to hear this. Do they really? Or is it just something that you want to add in? So remove as much fluff as possible. The other thing is that making sure that there's a competent stop where possible. Sometimes we don't end words or statements or phrases because it is a part of a live stream. It may not end exactly right. So you may be in the middle of maybe giving another thought. So make sure you can, as best as you can, try to find a place that's easy to cut off that is a close-ended statement. If anywhere in a sentence where it sounds like my voice inflection is as if I was going to say something else versus it being a complete sentence, like you see when I said sentence, my voice inflection is slightly up and raised because it's kind of like a audible comma. Is it good to end there or add on the other stuff? Because it's normal in live and in-person conversation, not so much on a recorded video. So I have to find a space that I can cut off and that honestly makes sense. But if you have that voice inflection where it goes up as if you're going to say something else, try to find a good spot to end that as a closed-ended statement so that that's finally closed. Because that goes into the third part of this in the adding context, which is just wrap it up. But ideally, knowing where you're pulling this live stream from and where this is going to fit into your content strategy, ideally you would want to have some place for them to go to next that you can recommend live and in that video versus just saying, see you next time. But sometimes it's just the way it works out. So let's go over to Final Cut Pro 10 and I'll show you how the video that I use this for actually broke down. So here we are in Final Cut Pro 10. This is what I use to edit all of my video content with. And over in here, you'll see I've broken this video down into these 3 sections that we have talked about. This green box and the area underneath it, part of the video is going to signify the intro. It's a little bit longer in this one than what I traditionally would do for maybe a regular recorded video. And then you have the orange portion here that is going to signify that all of this is going to be the core content of the video. And then you have this red area here that is going to outline the outro and just this area here. So to just show you, like, this was on like how to replace the background with Ecamm Live. This was done live into a live stream, but I went ahead and just switched it up a little bit by recording in the back area of my office. As you can see here, that's where that area is recorded. And then the outro is recorded over at my desk from a different angle. And so that's just to switch it up a little bit so it's not all just sitting at the desk. But if we look at the intro, let's go ahead and play this out so you can see how this transitions into the regular content. One of my favorite ways to make content is actually using live streams, and Ecamm Live makes that super simple while letting it be professional at the same time. In this video, I'm actually going to be cutting over to a live stream that we did where in real time, I was able to show you not just how to replace the background with the photo or video, but actually use the brand new preview mode and do that in real time if you needed to. And of course, this works when you're also trying to set up your stream before you ever go live. So let's dive in. Let's say I want to bring in, so as you can see there, I added some music, I added in B-roll or examples of what we're going to be seeing, like showing a little bit of a preview of the finished product. And so all of that was included in the editing when I was doing that. So you would see different layers for titles and all kinds of stuff. The intro to video part here, I just hit the letter V so that can get off of screen for a moment. But you saw, just like as I scroll through the video, me bringing in comments, this was part of, so you see it's part of a live stream. It's not just a recorded video only, but I'm drawing your attention as much as possible to showing you that this is kind of like a behind the scenes thing of, like, again, you can not just see me on screen in the tutorial, but you're seeing in a live how you can actually execute that in other ways that this may be relevant to them. And then we transition to the core content of the video so that you can now see how this goes from the intro into the video. The video core was condensed down into only 3 minutes. Obviously in the live format, it's way longer, but in this video format, it's way shorter because I can cut out parts where it took me time to type something in and I can just speed that up, or I can take out parts where I'm looking for the comment that was relevant for me to ask or bring back up on screen, or whatever the case is. And so I can also take advantage of the fact that not just baking this in normally, let me take the core video content title off, but you see here at this particular part in the video, I add in other elements that help to the retention of this video. And so I put titles on the screen to say, select publish to make any changes live. Now, 2-3 minutes later in the live stream, somebody may ask this question and I can answer it, but I'm not going to include that in this particular video. What I'm going to do is actually use arrows, use my regular editing tools to my advantage. So if there's something I need to elaborate to or to add more context around, so you can see if I'm pointing my mouse towards something on the video, in editing, I'll punch in and then I'll draw a circle around that area to bring attention to it, or this is what I'm clicking. I can't expect them to see on a dark video image with a black mouse cursor to see that, across that. It's not enough contrast. So, outlining to say, hey, this is what I'm talking about. And then again, adding in some text to say, notice the mute notification. I can't assume that the viewer is going to see that. So still taking a little bit of time to add in some editing parts of here, not a ton, but stuff that makes it easy for somebody to not feel like they're a fly on the wall, but more or less that they're getting value in this actual video content without being frustrated that they missed it or there's still things missing out of the live stream video. So adding that in. So right here at the end, I'm wrapping up things for the video. So let's take a look at the last several seconds and how this played out. Didn't play or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you got filler time if you need to. So this makes it super simple to replace the background if I'm doing multiple different types of recordings or live streams, in addition to if I needed to. So if you notice just for a few seconds there, as we go from the core video content into the outro, for a few seconds underneath that video, there's a little bit of music just to start to begin the transition that we're coming to an end of the tutorial portion, and it's going to cut back to me. So just listen for that ever. You know what I'm saying? So you got filler time if you need to. So this makes it super simple to replace the background. So one of the things that I would tell you is that when you are editing these pieces out or you're sending them to editing, you don't have to add the music or whatever. That's a personal preference just in my editing style. But something that I also want to do is I want to have looked at and pre-picked out that specific segment that I want to use. Otherwise, when I'm choosing how I'm going to end the video, I don't know where I left off at. So that's one of the things that I will do. If I'm planning to do a piece like this where I'm going to add context so I can make this into a regular recorded video, then I really want to make sure that I understand where I started and where I left off. So that way, when I'm going through this, I know exactly what parts are missing, what needs better clarity, or how to better end the video. So quick pro tip is to make sure that when you are looking at how you're going to contextualize this video, what is that next logical question that you can start to answer for your audience? In another video, I'm actually going to be looking into how you can repurpose this into micro content. So even if you're repurposing your content already to publish it as a recorded video, there's other ways that you can also repurpose that content for micro content for LinkedIn, Instagram, and what have you. And you can check out that video. It should be on the screen for you right now.